and welcome to another brand new episode of our podcast series. In this series, we discuss about different technologies and ideas shaping the banking and financial services sector. I'm your host, Sinjini, and today it gives me immense pleasure to host Chandrasekaran Krishnan, popularly known as KC. He has over 25 years of experience in the industry from application management services, development, transformation consulting for global banks. He has worked in almost all geographies except Africa, starting from the UK, Europe, APAC, Southeast Asia, Middle East, and Australia. Casey has seen quite a bit of the market. Casey also heads AMS service line for us in Maverick. So, a very, very warm welcome to you, Casey.
Thank you, Sinjini. It's a great opportunity for me as well to interact and present this AMS as an offering to all the wider audiences we have on today. And thank you for hosting me.
So, I wanted to ask you this question that, AMS has been there forever, right? So, why are we still discussing AMS today? Why is it so relevant today?
Absolutely. It's more like it is the heartline of any business, I would say today, right? So businesses are running with systems, the necessary infrastructure that is required to be running the businesses. And we need a core discipline that takes care of all the existing businesses. In banking parlance, in industry, we call that as run the bank, right? Which would encompass your application management services, your infrastructure, the licenses that are associated with taking care of that, your help desk, service desk. All these things come under that ambit of run the bank discipline, right? We need a very focused and concentrated work towards making sure that what is already existing for the bank, what is already running to support the bank's businesses are continuing without getting broken. And if they are broken, they have to be restored so immediately that there is no larger impact to the bank's business, for that matter, any business, not only for the bank, I'm saying, right? So this is where the importance of application management services as a discipline is coming in. This discipline primarily takes care of making sure whichever that is running in production, be it your infrastructure, be it your application, and even the underlying networks that are taking care of your whole business, that's connecting your business. Everything needs to come together very seamlessly and make sure that they are always up and running without getting disrupted. And the core function of application management services team is to make sure that the applications that are running for the banks or for any business are absolutely available at any point in time. They not only need to be available, they should be highly performing to take care of the business needs and make sure that they are resilient as well. Because in the digital era, where we are almost exposed all the core functions of a business, we have digitalized and then we have exposed them to the end user through a digital channel. They are also prone to cyber attacks. They are prone to disruptions in a digital medium, right? So we need to be making sure that they are resilient enough for any such attacks, or even if it is not an attack per se, even if that is an inadvertent change, that has gone into production that has disrupted the existing application, then it needs to be restored very quickly so that the business today your digital channels are the face of the business, almost like that, right? It has become in that scenario. So applications play a very vital role. And when applications are so important, application management services becomes even more important. We are no longer talking about, we used to call this parlance like keep the lights on. That means, the existing application needs to be running. Now that is not sufficient. These applications need to be running very efficiently. They need to be always running, and they need to be running in such a way that they are able to deliver the high performance at any point in time and handle the client loads. That is how this application needs to be performing. That's why application management services are even more relevant in today's business.
I think you did mention that about 60 to 70% of the spends, go in maintenance. Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
Right. So tell me something. Last year, Maverick introduced New Age AMS as a new service line. So can you explain what is this new age? How did we come to coin this kind of a word?
Banks architecture is becoming increasingly complex, right? A number of applications are more, and that translates into very high volume of transactions happening over these systems. That means these systems have to handle very heavy load. Their infrastructure is scaling up and scaling down. There are so many things that are changing in the bank's network. In this context, the way application management services was delivered has to be relooked in a very renewed lens. That is why we are coming and talking about the New Age AMS. Very specifically, what we mean by New Age AMS is we will be able to take care of or address all of the issues that today's CIO is facing. Today's CIO is not just, you know, faced only with a technical challenge, right? Today's CIO is juggling multiple balls. He or she needs to handle the technology complexity in the IT landscape, take care of the security aspects of it, make sure that the systems are very high performing and they are always available and reliable. On top of all these things, the person, CEO has to reduce the cost of operations, right? The fundamental aspect here is if you are going to reduce the cost of operations, then at some point in time you have to cut corners, but you are not afford to do that anymore because your complexity is so high that you cannot just simply cut the corners, right? You have to make sure that everything is up and running, but operated at a lower cost, and then go to the business and demonstrate a business value of IT. This is a challenge the new age CIO is facing. These are modern problems, and this modern problem requires a very modern solution, very different from or very evolved from a traditional way of delivering an AMS. That is exactly why we are calling our service line as New Age AMS.
Get it. So it is obviously it is industry agnostic also, because from what I
Absolutely.
understand, it's pretty holistic, and I think the focus is also on a lot of business, right? So it's business led AMS,
Our offering is called Business First AMS
business
because
first.
whatever I have spoken until today, it is more like the new age hygiene factor. You need to have this way of working at the base, right? And it's more like a common denominator. But is this going to differentiate us from the rest of the competition? Possibly not. Of course, most of the competitors have also evolved to the level of what we are talking at the maturity level. And if we are actually differentiating ourselves from the market by our offering called Business First AMS. Primarily because if you go back to what I articulated a minute ago, one of the main problems of a CIO is to demonstrate the business value of the IT function in business terms, right? What do I mean by that is traditionally the IT is looked as cost center, and it always comes as an OpEx, especially the AMS part that I'm talking about. It comes in the OpEx, right? That means okay, my IT has to run, so I'm allocating a particular amount, and IT was always measured using how they have been performing effectively, the number of tickets they have been resolving, how is the SLA being responded with, and all those matrices. This was giving a very, very siloed view of a goodness or how IT has been performing well, right? But there was a gap between how business has been performing and how IT has been performing. This silo is fast disappearing, right? It needs to disappear fast because IT needs to resonate completely with business. Then only the real value of IT can be viewed by the business. I'll give an example and explain this. Today, business leaders no longer want to understand how well an IT is performing. Rather, they want to measure things like I am dispatching a loan in 3 days. Can my IT systems bring down that lead period of 3 days to say an half a day? If I'm able to dispatch loan faster, then that means my agility improves, my ability to turn around for my customer improves. You would be seeing a lot of advertisements even these days that people are able to give pre-approved loans People are able to, give grant loans within half a day and so on and so forth. These are enabled because of having a very strong IT running behind the business processes, right? And this is the kind of value that IT is constantly pressurized to demonstrate to the market, to the business also. This now IT is shifting from being a cost center to becoming a partner in business's growth and success.
So
IT's
it's a
measurement is more like how well are you able to add value to my revenue growth or my top line growth. That's a conversation that are happening in the boardrooms these days. And we say we will be able to help any IT leader achieve or address this particular question through our offering called Business First AMS.
So it has become one of the, I'd say, very important prime enablers of businesses today.
Absolutely. It is the way it is looked at right now is, as I said, right, the way IT has been viewed thus far is fast changing. It is no longer a cost center. It is becoming more like a partner for businesses growth and acceleration. And it is a primary enabler. And we as a market player will be able to partner with any banks who have this objective and who will be able to deliver this kind of a value to the customer, right? So that is how we are positioning ourselves.
So as you were talking, I was also thinking about the Uber and the Netflix, era right now that we are in, and probably how AMS, probably the new age AMS, also has a big role to play in the way they operate, right? So I was just thinking about my own life, how it can get disrupted. That is the importance of new age AMS, is what I'm understanding from you, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's a very valid use case that you're bringing in. Um, this new age AMS is exactly built around these modern systems. It's like, for example, in Uber or in Netflix, I would even put it to a very recent context. Today, as of, on May 31st, I believe Myntra is going to announce its sale that everybody can relate to. Let's look behind the lens of what is happening and how an AMS team that is behind Myntra or any bank would be operating in this context, right? What will happen is the moment Myntra launches the sale, the traffic to their application and the network will increase substantially, probably 10x, 15x times. The entire IT backbone of Myntra would be required to handle and also will be required to process all the incoming sale requests, and that would be connected in the backend to their inventory management to make sure that the systems are updated in real time and to make sure that the transactions are routed to a banking payment gateway. And then banks IT team will be working overtime because that is an incoming revenue for them. If I'm swiping as an end user, right, swiping a credit card in Myntra's platform, which will be routed to a bank's payment gateway, bank will be charging a transaction fee. That's a revenue for the bank. So bank cannot afford to make their system unavailable during that peak time. And they have to make it always available and make sure that whatever transaction volume that is directed from Myntra, which would be in addition to the regular traffic they will be handling and regular processing they will be doing.
Okay. I mean, I can almost like visualize the web of uh, interactions, that are already happening behind the scenes as you're talking.
Yeah.
So tell me, is this also AI led? What is the future forward for AMS?
AI is going to be a very, very integral part in AMS as we speak. AI has started becoming an integral part. There used to be something called operations within, it's one of the divisions within an application management services, wherein you will be required to do a lot of hygiene activities, a repeated set of activities like beginning of the day processing, end of the day processing. You'll be required to handle a set of requests based on a standard operating procedures, which used to be executed manually, right? That area is getting very highly disrupted. Today, we are talking about AI ops. AI ops is nothing but AI enabled operations, right? So we there are players, there are products in the market which are very well established and which are also adopted, there is a very reasonable level of adoption already in the market for this AI products, AI ops products, and that adoption is only increasing. And these players are also increasing the capability of these AI ops platforms, wherein they are making it more agentic. That means multiple agents will be running, and then these agents will be talking to each other and make sure that they are able to handle any of the things that is coming in. And the way in which people's capability, whoever is part of the AMS, is also getting disrupted big time because of AI. The role definitions are changing. We are not talking about anybody who's just knowing a Java or a .NET or even Temenos for that matter to be able to support the respective thing. They need to be coming up with a very specific capability to able to interact with an AI-based system, generate results, create automations, create platforms, or create certain scripts and other things, which is able to interact with these systems and still be able to deliver the day-to-day work, right? That is how their role definitions will change. And we used to call something like shift left in the earlier era, wherein the complex workload is automated to a degree and it is given to a lower skilled human resource who will be able to handle that work using a script or using a standard operating procedure. That's the way it used to be. Now we are redefining that. That is becoming shift smart, right? It is no longer shift left, it is shift smart. When the shift happens, say for example, a root cause analysis, that need not be done by human being. There are agents which can do it automatically by just correlating anything that happens. If there are incidents, there are platforms and agents available today which would look at what has happened, why this incident has been created, what are all the changes that has happened in the environment. Oh, okay, there are 7 events that have happened in the last 1 week. Probably the third event could be the root cause of this problem, and it generates the result, and then it gives to an application management service professional saying that these are all the things I have analyzed, and it cuts short close to about 60-70% of the time that will be required to be spent on this. And the human being picks up from that standpoint. These are all available as we speak.
Amazing. Uh, at least I had a complete understanding now. Thank you so much, Casey.
Thank you, Sinjini.